Hey, how's it going? I'm Brian and you're watching Someplace or Another, and today I'm at a vacuum cleaner museum. Follow me. And welcome to 1910. The Titanic sinks, World War I begins, Henry Ford starts the assembly line. Did you know sweeping carpets with a broom destroys the nap and only presses in the dirt? No, I did not know that. Do you know why vacuums have headlights?
It was a two-person operation. You had to have somebody grab the hose and go over there and start.
Oh,
Pump the bellows. Because
Okay.
This is from 1900, before we had electric motors
Yeah.
to run vacuum cleaners.
so you can feel.
I still have some air flow to it. Not much.
I can't quite
That
tell.
hose is leaking,
Yeah.
but it's more than 100 years old. It's about 120 years old. That's a
pretty cool.
1900 dust killer.
Huh.
But that's what we had before we had electric motors.
Yeah.
And then central vacs were the first ones with electric motors, but those motors weighed 100 pounds. So that machine would have gone, like that gray one, in your basement, and the tubing went to each room. You open the valve and put the
Yeah.
hose in the valve and clean the room. What is she doing?
Ah, she plugged it in. Ah.
There were no receptacles.
Huh.
They didn't exist, and they wouldn't for 10 more years. You had to connect it to the light socket, but people had one light per room. And that's why headlights were put on vacuum cleaners.
Ah,
It was the
genius.
invention of the electric iron. After a couple of years, people were returning them because they couldn't see the wrinkles in the clothes because they unscrewed the light bulb in the kitchen. General Electric was selling a lot more irons than they ever were vacuums. This person bought an adapter.
Oh, that's clever.
Well, they have these had these adapters. So this person didn't cut off the plug.
They bought the adapter instead.
Most people would have just cut off the plug when they wired their houses for receptacles.
Wow.
Usually just two. One in the living room for the sweeper, and one in the kitchen for the iron.
Huh.
So once that happened, then, they cut off the plug and put a new one on. See, these ads play a really important role in the vacuums themselves, which are just a motor-driven fan. What we said about them and how we went about connecting them, they were so early. The vacuum cleaner came out in 1908. Nothing had a cord. In 1910, nothing had a cord. It wasn't until 1915 that the first irons were ever introduced. They had no thermostat, so you couldn't control the heat. When you plugged them in or screwed them in, they began to heat. When you unscrewed it, they stopped.
Oh.
That was not good, because if you walked away for just a moment, they would catch on fire.
Oh, that's not
You
good.
needed some way to pull the cord out of the wall. And General Electric would invent prongs and receptacles in 1921.
Welcome to the 1920s. Prohibition begins. The Great Depression begins. Coincidence? I think not. Lindbergh flies the Atlantic. Did you know disposable bags were first used in the airway vacuum in 1920? No, I did not. Is it me, but don't the older vacuum cleaners look cooler? I should have read these ads more carefully when I was there. The Eureka vacuum cleaner warms the air, dries hair, warms the bathroom. So it's a hair dryer and vacuum cleaner. Well, that's interesting. Making good time, 1930s and 1940s. Well, that's a rough decade. The Great Depression, Pearl Harbor, World War II, and the Hindenburg crash. You're looking at Stan Can's collection. If you're from St. Louis, you've probably heard of him. He played the organ at the Fox, was on the Late Show several times, and collected vacuum cleaners. I heard another interesting story when I was here. When the electric vacuum cleaner first came out, the Hoover was $85, Model T was $300. So that was a pretty big deal to buy a vacuum cleaner. You'll be happier with the Hoover. Well, that's interesting, fan. The 1950s. Korean War. We have Brown versus Board of Education. And color TV. My favorite. You can totally see how the vacuum cleaner has changed. And look, they have a 1950s kitchen. Cool. With a working refrigerator. Cool. Did you know the Electrolux was designed with a long narrow body so it could sit on steps? No, I did not. The world's lightest weight heavy-duty cleaner. And it's only $69.75. Hold on to your tie-dye. We're going to the 60s now. JFK assassinated, Neil Armstrong walks the moon, and the Vietnam War. Looks like they're adding a bit more plastic to the vacuums. And more vibrant colors, too. I wonder if that's a color TV or one of those old black and white TVs. Who out there has watched television on a black and white TV? Or has listened to a record on a record player? Not many things you buy last 50 years. But my Hoover has. Cool. That's awesome. Looks like a flashback to the Telephone Museum. From Santa to you, or from you to you. Those are the best presents. Welcome to the 1970s. Atari launches Pong. That's when Apple introduced their personal computer. Oh wait, and the Sony Walkman. Cool, the Walkman I could afford. The wet dry back. Bet you all the guys out there have one of these in the garage. Newer, of course. Ah, the 70s. Did you know a shag carpet weighs 8 times more being removed from the house than it does going in? Ew. Now, she definitely looks 1970s. The Kirby Classic. Okay, we're off to the 80s. MTV Music, The Berlin Wall Falls, Challenger Tragedy, and the invent of the ugly vacuum cleaner. In case you were wondering, yes, you can buy vacuum cleaners here. And no, I did not look at one. Well, that was interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you someplace or another. Bye. Stay tuned for more adventure to come. Subscribe, like, share, and thanks for watching. Bye.